Okay. Hello and welcome to top four, I guess, or semifinals as they're more commonly called. Sorry, it's quite early for me and I'm a little loopy. My opponent's not here, but they will be here soon. Uh, and it is, in fact, Li, my nemesis. And Li is on basically the same deck as me, except the difference being that Li is more devoted to the Spore spawning combo, and so has two extra Aurors, Root Fossil, Archaic, Obelisk, even Crumbling Tower, even a Deep Cavern Slia as like Spore spawning number 5. Meanwhile, I'm rocking Yen Slope Skitters and Redeemer of Hollowed Flesh as additional aggro threats for my aggro plan. So I think I'm likely to be the aggressor, be the beatdown like 60% of the time or something. Uh, it's going to come down to spore spawning wars sometimes, which is going to be quite silly. Um, yeah, if they get a Reaper into spore spawning, if one player gets a Reaper to spore spawning as soon as possible, like turn 2 Reaper, turn 4 or 5 spore spawning, that's faster than the other player's aggro plan can usually kill them. But if the spore spawning is even slightly delayed, like if you have the Reaper on turn 3, then I think you can actually overwhelm them and at least go over the top if you have a terminal impact. But yeah, a classic like aggro mid-range mirror is how I'm thinking about this, with the potential for spore spawning to turn it into uh, kind of a combo game. Not that either of us can disrupt our opponent's spore spawning basically at all. I have sensor tablets in my sideboard, which basically don't fight spore spawning at all. If spore spawning is going to do something dangerous, they will basically have so many cards in graveyard that sensor tablets first ability won't do anything, and they can discard it and then immediately flash it back to evade the second ability. Meanwhile, on their end, their graveyard hidden choice is archival storage, which can actually reduce the spore spawning count because it goes bottom of library, not exile. And it does also stop spore spawning, but once again, it's symmetrical, so I very much doubt Lei will be bringing this in. Whew. Um, well, thank you for watching. It's good to be in a top 8 again. I don't know what the record for longest top 8 streak is. I imagine it's longer than 5, but this is my 5th in a row. Uh, that's a pretty good hot streak, all things considered. Well, last tournament, like last month, I was knocked out by in in May the last time I didn't make top 8. I actually I posted a loss to Lei. Lei is kind of my nemesis. I don't know what it is about Lei. I think it's kind of I tend to build my deck slightly dirtlier, and have a lot of creature interaction. Um, and Lei is frequently building combo decks that don't care about creature interaction. So I tend to match up poorly against them. Might just be luck of the draw. Leah is clearly a very good player and a very, very good deck builder. And if you're interested in seeing more of my cards, by the way, I have a preview season going on the Gray server for my next set, Blood and Velvet. Very excited about that. That's a style of writing, the Blood and Velvet kind of gothic occult noir style of writing that I do really enjoy doing, and haven't really gotten to do since I released the Blood and Velvet role playing game that the Magic set is based on. If you're seeing this video as soon as it goes up, I'm probably going over the draft archetypes right now, which is a great place to drop in. You can even contact me if you want to do a preview. It's not too late for that. Doo-doo-doo. Opponent is expected. Opponent is not here. Yeah. So sideboard wise, I guess I can talk about sideboarding now. I definitely want Advance of Fire and Faith. Like I'd be going over my opponent's deck, but it's very similar to my deck. Like what are the like Archaic Obelisk? That's like basically copy number 5 Reaper of Blossoms. There's Root Fossil. It'll be a thing. I don't imagine Root Fossil will be hugely relevant, mainly because I'm trying to be aggressive. Crumbling Tower, similar thing. They have the one of Hardy Rough Rider in the main, which I think caps out at, I guess Aurora lets you get to 5. Wandering this is a real concern. They could even bring in more Hardy Rough Riders because I am once again going to be the aggro deck a decent chunk of the time. Now I'm feeling like I started recording too early. Uh, yeah. Well, with 2 matches left in the tournament, let me go over how what I generally have thought about this deck. Aurora, I've been quite happy with. Maybe I want the third copy. Just curve reasons. I think 2 copies is about how many copies you want of a 5-drop, but this is kind of a ramp deck. It's mostly ramp with Husk Forger, but it could easily play a third Aurora. Similar, Jens has been okay. Jens has been as good as needed, but not better. Not an exceptional 4-drop, but I feel like an aggressive 4-drop is something this deck was interested in. Um, and it has lots of little synergies, like it lets you spend mana for Abominable Avalanche. It works with Aurora and Reaper of Blossoms, helping you get more lands into play. Puts counters on random like Soldier and Yeti tokens. It's nice. Husk Forgers, Anomalies, obviously. Reaper of Blossoms. Really, Reaper of Blossoms Spore Spawning is just such an excellent match. The problem with Reaper Blossoms, often your opponent can ignore it, and if you get 2 of them into play, you die. Spore Spawning solves both of those problems by making Reaper into a very real threat, in addition to being a quite annoying anti-aggro and value card. Redeemer also has impressed me. I haven't seen Liz deck in action, but Redeemer alone means I think my deck might be better than Liz overall, although I don't know how good it is in the head up matchup. Head on matchup? I don't know what I was trying to say there. Just like turn 1 Husk Warrior, turn to Redeemer, I've done it plenty of times with this deck, and it's always applied a ton of pressure to them. I think I'm especially the beneficiary of the fact that I'm not seeing a ton of Sovereign's Execution. That's the 2 mana removal spell that can kill Redeemer on turn 2. Instead, I'm seeing a lot of terminal impacts, abominable avalanches, um, final fates, even hangs. Um, I will say that the big problem with Redeemer is what's called Sanctum of Repression. That card has been excellent, and it does get Redeemer pretty good, especially if it gets the counter. Shigano Burns, I've been disappointed in. Um, this was in All Who Wanders, like no spore spawning aggro version of this deck, and I thought, well, if it's good enough for the aggro version, surely it's good enough for the version with more graveyard synergy. And it's just like I want to be aggressive. I don't want to be doing this on turn 2. Um, I'm not sure. Like it's possible I should have Cash Thrashers in the main as much as Cash Thrasher and Spore Spawning are not exactly friends. Um, it's possible this should be the other, like this should be like Ignited Soul or the other Gilded Noon Entertainer. That's the other looter 2-drop. Um, but yeah, just not impressed with Shigami Burns. In the mono base, I have felt slightly Tapland heavy. Really, Buffery Conservatory has not impressed me. Um, maybe this should just be Forest. Or maybe I just haven't run into the game where this is necessary. Out of the sideboard, Terminal Impacts and Avalanches and Spore Spawnings, obviously I want all 4 of, even though Avalanche has, I think, warped the meta sufficiently that often it's not great. There's a lot of decks that are just not running great targets for Abominable Avalanche, but it's still a great thing to mill, great thing to discard. And Harvest Time. I really do like Harvest Time. I think it's a very powerful card, but once again, I think this is an aggro deck, and effectively, the fact that the thing I did not consider is that Harvest Time means I go from a respectable 3 tap lands to a somewhat concerning 5 tap lands. And 5 is certainly more tap lands than the deck wants. I think this should probably trim to Harvest Time, put in an additional land, probably just a forest, um, and then make room for one more card of some description. Where is Lee? That speaks the devil. Let me clear that although Lit is in fact my nemesis. No problem. Lovely person, curator. Um, and great member of the community. Certainly one of our best deck builders. I think at least to me, like I don't have the full history of the format at my disposal, but to me, Lit and Stasis are the two great deck builders of current Revolution. And I'm more of a deck kind of optimizer and tweaker, um, who's gotten quite lucky and I think plays decently well. Speaking of getting lucky, let's just have a really aggressive aggro start with our opponent having no spore spawning. How's that for an opening? Lay is higher seed. Everyone in top 8 is higher seed. Everyone currently remaining in top 8 is higher seed than me. Getting him with the player draw. I have not once chosen to draw in this format or seen anyone else do the same. I think current constructed, it just doesn't seem like you should ever do it. I see a Husk Forger or wow, this hand's great. This hand's excellent. Slightly annoying. I will probably get a mountain with his Primal Fissure, which means I will have two non-green sources for my Aurora between Husk Forger and Primal Fissure. That is annoying. I'll try to delay Primal Fissure as long as possible, hoping I draw like an Urban Jungle or a Temple of Origins. But it's an easy keep. Probably turn 1 Husk Forger, turn 2 Anomaly, but it could easily be turn 2 Reaper plus get a land. Opponent does not have Husk Forger. That's lovely. I draw my second Aurora. Okay, well, turn 1 is easy. That's just Husk Forger. So now I'm effectively on the play. I will be the first one to play a 3-drop. This is the Reaper of Blossoms? Yep. So, Spore spawning is only a matter of time here. Roar, Husk Forger, Terminal Impact. Okay. Don't mind seeing those gone. And okay. Second Primal Fissure means we have to make decisions now. Our options are Primal Fissure for Forest, Reaper of Blossoms, use Reaper to get back a land, or Primal Fissure, Fabricate Anomaly. Discard a Roar. Okay, let's think this through. Fabricate Anomaly is a better aggro threat, and it spends my mana more efficiently. If I think I can aggress down my opponent, I should play Fabricate Anomaly. However, my hand is very aggressive. I have none of my good aggro creatures. I have no Yens. I have no Redeemer. So I don't think I'm going to be able to aggress down my opponent very quickly with this hand at all. In that case, I'm probably on a Spore spawning plan, in which case what I want is Reaper of Blossoms. Does that make sense? Other concerns? I do have a one card I really want to discard to a puzzle box, which is Second Aurora, but I'm not in an urgent need of doing that. Here's the thing, if I play Fabricate Anomaly this turn, next turn, I can attack with it as a 3-4. If I play Reaper Blossoms turn, next turn I play Fabricate Anomaly, and then I can attack with Reaper as a 3-4. So, Fabricate Anomaly, despite being the more aggressive creature, does not let me be aggressive any faster. So although I usually consider Anomaly a higher priority than Reaper, in this situation, I think it's Reaper. I don't know if that logic made any sense, but I'm trying to talk through these plays, especially when playing these especially when playing against Lit. I get a Reaper. I'm just hoping to hit really any land here. That's no lands at all. That's kind of the downside. I did hit an Abominable Avalanche. Annoyingly, Terminal Impact. Terminal Impact's the worst thing to hit off Reaper of Blossoms, because it doesn't have surface. It's not Abominable Avalanche, so it doesn't do anything in the graveyard, but it also doesn't increase your Spore spawning count. It's not like I needed the extra land, it just would have been nice. Okay, they got two Reaper of Blossoms. I have no instance in this deck. I don't know what you're waiting for. This is good. I can already tell this is going to be a silly deck. Okay. Well, first mill hit a Deep Cavern Scylla, and second mill gets them back a land. Probably the forest. Yep. No Spore spawning yet, but at 6 cards a turn, it's not going to take long. Aurora can kind of mill, and so can Fabric Anomaly, but I think their Spore spawning is likely to be a little bigger than mine when it happens. Redeemer, okay. I think I stay the course and play Anomaly here, not Redeemer. I guess here's the question. If I play Anomaly, I can attack with 3-4 Reaper Blossoms and just trade it for one of their Reaper Blossoms, and that's probably not good for me. I'm also concerned, do I even want to play this Primal Fissure? Because if I play Forest instead of Primal Fissure, or if I Primal Fissure for Forest, then I'm giving up on Anomaly, because I have no more red sources, but I mean like an Aurora next turn. So yeah, my two options are Anomaly or Redeemer, and if I Redeemer, I could get Mountain or Forest with this Primal Fissure. What does Redeemer get me? Well, they're likely to give me 1/1s, probably. 1/1s aren't doing very much on this board. What if I play Anomaly? I trade a Reaper for a Reaper. I'm still not, like, getting a lot of aggression in. I think I should play this like the combo matchup. In which case, Anomaly is a priority, but also Aurora is a priority. But I think getting a red source is very important. Huh. If I do Anomaly, I have to, like, I'm just never getting Aurora next turn. It can never happen because I have two non-green sources. Hmm. Tough choices, tough choices. Okay, suppose I play Redeemer this turn. I don't know, they let me have a 4/4, or maybe or make an additional 1/1, something like that. Following turn, I play a Roar. I get Yeti token. Um, I'm in this for long. I think I can delay a Roar. It's not like if I play a Roar and then immediate attack with it, I'm going to have immediate Spore spawning and pressure. I'm still going to be behind my opponent. Would be nice, but I think I can delay it a turn. Because I want my Spore spawning to be as big as possible anyways. And getting Anomaly down is just very valuable. Get my 1 of Mountain. Here's the question. Do I want to trade a Reaper for a Reaper? Discard second Aurora. Okay. Well, the good news, I know that I have a Spore spawning I can put in my graveyard, which I don't know if my opponent does. I could trade a Reaper for a Reaper. Hmm. Advantages of trading a Reaper for a Reaper. Hmm. See, my Reaper might be better because I know I have Spore Spawn. Also, my Reaper might draw me a card. I don't know if they could draw cards off their Reapers. Also, this game could absolutely go down to like them making a bajillion tokens, and I also make a bajillion tokens, but then they mill out to their Reapers. So I think I don't want to trade a Reaper for a Reaper. Okay, I get my Forest. Next turn I could even Spore Spawn it, but it would only be for like 5, 6. No, actually just 5. There's also a serious possibility that I should be going for Spore Spawning from hand into Spore Spawning from graveyard. If I think this game comes down to whoever gets to make more tokens off of Spore Spawnings, then I want a Spore Spawning from hand for additional Spore Spawnings. And I also want to delay my Spore Spawnings as long as possible See, I'm not killing them before spore spawnings happen. So it's going to come down to who is the bigger spore spawning. And the later spore spawning is bigger and better. So I should go next turn, like, I should try to go, like, really drag it out. Redeemer into Aurora, into spore spawning, into spore spawning. Their spore spawning is currently 4-7. It's going to get a lot bigger if these, quite quickly with these Reapers. They do also have a root fossil they could surface, but I'd probably pretty quickly have blockers for that. Yep, they have an anomaly. I know they have a land in hand. They got it back last turn with Reaper of Blossoms. Okay. I feel behind, is how I feel. I wasn't able to. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to win before spore spawnings happen. Oh, interesting. They're willing to trade a Reaper for an anomaly. Taking themselves off Skillia and. Interesting. I was not expecting them to be the aggressor here. Because I can. Because this is trade. This is 6 for 6. They hit me for 6, but I can attack and hit them back for 6. I'm not willing to trade anomaly for these, no. I think I'm happy about that. Does make me wish I had a could play an Aurora this turn, but this is besert. It just sort of happened. Okay, no, this changes. So I could hit them back for 6, but they get they got the first anomaly, so they're probably going to be a little ahead on this. I could fire off if I wanted to like shut this down completely. I could fire off a smaller spore spawning, but it would cost me a lot of future spore spawning equity. They'd play a tap Temple of Origins. Yeah, and they're going to mail a bajillion cards. I know they have an untapped land in hand. I think it's a forest, but they have no interest in it. They mail a lot of lands. I draw another anomaly, which is not really a ton of anything. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I really wish I could play Aurora this turn, is what I'm feeling. Unfortunately, I do not think I can. I also remember they have Terminal Impact, so I have to watch out for that, the possibility. I think I'm kind of pricing the hitting them for 6 here. And then playing, what, Redeemer? Hmm. I guess my options are Redeemer or Spore Spawning. Well, I should discard this. No, I shouldn't discard the Spore Spawning. Because I might want Spore Spawning from here. That legitimately might be where we're going. I should loot away this land. I'm going to be able to Reaper Blossom's turn anyways, so. I draw a Husk Forger. That's nice. I'm still not going to be able to Aurora. Maybe I should have kept that land. Well. Oh, right. Oh, God, this is awful. It's Redeemer, I think. Does Redeemer do anything that Anomaly doesn't? No, I think I misplayed this game. Not sure where. They give me a 1/1, which is actually quite useful. I'm very willing to jump with this. Exile 6 cards. Well, sorry, 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. They take their 6. End step, Reaper trigger. Boy, not having any luck finding lands off of this thing. So just kind of spore spawning. Oh god, because now maybe I shouldn't have discarded that land to puzzle box. I really shouldn't have, in retrospect. And then I get 2 more looks for a land. Okay, they discard a land. Might just not want to show me the spore spawning. There's no graveyard hate other than Redeemer, so it's not at risk in their graveyard. No, they discard a HUD Portrait, so probably no spore spawning this turn. It could be a roar. Could easily be a roar. Oh, why didn't I exile lands from my graveyard? I have a roar in hand. Boy, I'm playing sloppy. Definitely deserve to lose this one. There's a roar. There's gotta be a roar. Yep, it's the only 5 drop in the deck. Yeah. Oh boy, Bin's 2 avalanches. So I'm gonna be losing on board as well. Well, they're gonna immediately get 2 lands off of these Ardent Rise. I was not super high on like the Aurora error ramp stuff that we got back like during Errors in the Weft season. Just like in terms of design, not like the kind of ramp deck, but I want to see. But like this is okay. Sports wanting aside, I think this is a much more cool way to see Aurora in action as part of like more of a mid-range plan. Although clearly also a ramp plan. Yeah, I think all the way back is when I cast this Fabricated Anomaly. That was wrong. I should have like Primal Fissure for Forest, gotten down the Redeemer earlier, and just gotten down Aurora earlier and hoped Aurora could carry me because I would get Aurora first. Um, and that's the kind of advantage I needed. They have Avalanche triggers, but those are May triggers, so I'm under no obligation to remind them. There's a Spore spawning, which is going to be completely massive. No, they remember their Avalanche triggers. There's a very good player, and also didn't attack here, which I think makes sense uh, given what's happening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's going to be. I'm certainly dead to true terminal impact. I'm getting close to being dead to 1 terminal impact. Speaking of. Oh, God. Okay, I need to use this puzzle box. I need to discard probably this Spore spawning. Husk Forger. Shigane Manor burns. Oof. Yeah, I don't have attacks. How do I win this game? I don't think I can. Their Spore spawning and terminal impacts are way bigger than mine. I think I probably won this game by getting into a roar and then using terminal impact, not Spore spawning. Okay, let's. They might give me a treasure, but no, they never give me a treasure. They want lands in graveyard for a roar. Yeah, they give me a 1/1. Yeah, attacking doesn't make any sense. I think I just do I just kill a roar? I think I do. I kind of want to be the second player to sports bonding, but I think it's like I might be forced to sports bonding just because the stuff they have on board is so threatening. Like, how am I blocking a roar? Double block here. It's not that bad. They have 3 turns left with Reaper of Blossoms. If they don't find Terminal Impact in hand, I could go for Reaper of Blossoms. I could try to stall out for Reaper of Blossoms. If that's my plan, what's my next play? I need to get stuff on the board so I don't die. That could be Spore spawning, but I can't cast that because of my decisions. Could be Terminal Impact, killing a Roar or Fabricated Anomaly. Could just be another Fabricated Anomaly. Now, Roar luckily can never find them specific cards by surveilling because of Ardent Rise, but I think I no, Terminal Impact is how I win this game. No, it's not. Terminal is not how I win this game. I win this game through their Reaper of Blossoms. So this is the play. This gets me maximum board presence. It's not a good plan, but it's the plan I got. There's all the lands. Okay. That's good. I want lands in graveyard for a roar. Like, I don't think I get to 10 mana and Terminal Impact them twice before they die to their own Reapers. It's actually notable. 20 cards, it's 7 a turn off of Reaper of Blossoms. So if they never use a puzzle box or a primal fissure or an ardent rise, that gets or if they fail to find all their ardent rises, that's 14 end of this turn, 13 next upkeep. 7, 1, 0. So yeah, they have this turn, go to 14. They have next turn, and they have the turn after that. They have to kill me in those 3 turns, or else they die to their own Reaper of Blossoms. I think they probably can do it, but that's my hope. That's how I win this game. I noticed they did not crack Primal Fissures. Yeah, but like the thing is they can get up to 6 additional cards out of their library with Primal Fissures, Ardent Rises, and Puzzle Boxes before they lose a turn on the Reaper of Blossoms trigger. 7 cards, actually, I think. They're going to attack me. Anomaly triggers. I got a lot of cards, I assume. Including both Primal Fissures. And they're exiling lands at this point. Okay, I'm going to be forced to Spore Spawning the following turn. They're going all the way. To get counters on all of their creatures. Interesting. Okay. Okay, I do want to block down some of these things. but not the Reaper of Blossoms. Those need to live. Can I keep myself out of the range of one terminal impact for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? So I need to not take 6. That's the plan. Take no damage, kill your Yetis, do not kill Reaper of Blossoms. That's the plan. They kill my Anomaly, and presumably my Redeemer. That's 2 more for Spore spawning at least. Oh, I see. What is a 1 damage matter for? Is this a Abominable Avalanche from hand? Oh, I am so behind. So behind. And Huskforger? Yep. Yeah, I'm forced to Spore spawning here. I think it might be too. I think they were too much. 1, 2, 3. And I think not all 20. 19. What's mine for? 1, 2, 2 and 14. 16? They're 19 mines for 16? That's less lopsided than I thought. Okay, they do 1s and 10s. Makes sense. I mean, you get to discard a puzzle box, so. Okay, they have more Spore spawnings to go. There are so many things that kill me here, by the way. So many things. Okay, no, that's GG, right? I can't put enough in play. Okay, that's GG. Yep, double Spore spawning gets me. Okay, that was a pretty big beating. A stock sideboard. Avalanche is not that great in this matchup. I think my sideboard plan looks like this. Not ideal. Once again, Graveyard Hate doesn't really stop. Yeah, and they did have 2 Reapers, which is a strong advantage in this matchup, but I think I certainly could have played where I had the first Aurora, at least. Spore spawning, obviously important. Chicanery Burns, as much as I dislike it, real key in this matchup. Avalanches don't have a ton of targets. I don't want to draw too many of them. Harvest Time's just a little slow. Commit to Fire and Faith is my answer to Spore spawning, which it's not my great answer, but it's the answer I got. And I think it's better for me than Avalanche, at least. Okay. Give me one moment, and I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's still not done sideboarding. Let's do this thing. Let's just let it be easy for once, right? This hand has no lands in it. Mull to 6. Buh! This hand has one land and two 5-drops in it, but it also has Husk Forger. Oy, oy, oy. I think this hand is better than going to 5? It's not much better than going to 5. Turn 1. Turn 1 Husk Forger. If I draw a land, Reaper gets me a land, maybe I start getting back into it, but I have a Spore spawning I can't get rid of. I've Terminal Impacted no red source. I have 2 Roars, which I want in this matchup, but not in a 1-lander. Ay, 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 ay. I think this is... Okay. Okay, let me think of it this way. If I draw a land on turn 2, because I'm on the play, so I don't get to draw turn 1, how good is this hand? If I don't draw a land on turn 2, I'm pretty screwed. Like, I can play Reaper, but I miss my land drop. I'm very unlikely. I have no pressure. Very unlikely to win that game. If I hit my land drop, how good is this hand? It's still not great. I'm still probably not favored with this hand. Even if I do hit the land on turn 2, just because I'm not doing much. I have no follow-up play. I can't play this Terminal Impact. Okay, if I go to 5, on average, how good are my 5s? Not spectacular, but I have outs to have really good 5s. If I can get early Reaper of Blossoms, um, early Redeemers. I don't want to mull to 5. I don't like mulliganing. I think I mull to 5. I think like I'm still under 50% to draw a land. And if I don't draw a land, I just probably lose. And if I do draw a land, I'm not in great shape. Mull to 5 is not great, but it's what has to be done here. Well, this hand is not very good either, but it is at least keepable. Putting back land 4, which is... I guess land 4 is actually Urban Jungle. No, land 4 is Primal Fissure, because I have a Roar. Um, yeah, I go Primal Fissure, Harvest Time, turn 1. Um, and then I also put back... I definitely want to not only put back Advance of Fire and Faith. Yeah, I don't need Advance of Fire and Faith early. This is a late game card. And I don't need this Primal Fissure. Well, let's see how this goes. Cyberose Forest saved me. Harvest time for another forest. I could have put back 2 lands. Really prayed. And it's not like Advance of Fire and Faith was doing a ton for me. Okay, I draw a Spore spawning, so I'm not doing anything this turn. Sounds like it. Well, next turn I get an anomaly. Maybe I should have kept in more Abominable Avalanches just because it can kill Reaper Blossoms, even inefficiently. Reaper Blossoms does seem pretty important in this matchup. Okay, they play Shigani Manor Burns, which means they could have first Aurora, but doesn't mean there's no Reaper, at least. Try to Shigani Manor Burns. Oh my god, all the things at all the wrong times. I'm gonna play Anomaly, I don't know. Play Anomaly, discard Spore spawning. We're not getting to 6 mana anytime soon. I can play Hutsquarter, it doesn't even give me a roar next turn. Oh boy. Gonna be honest, the hand I kept on 5 would not have been an above average 7. So this seems likely to be rough. I could have played Hutsforger in the hope that I drew untapped land so I could play a roar the following turn. I think that's gambling slightly too much. I could win this if my opponent's draw is really quite bad, and I get off an early big Spore spawning to which they have no answer. Not a good plan, but I think it's my plan. They did in fact bring in Advanced Fire. They brought in Frag as well. I don't have frags. It seems like this Frag is going to be cast this turn. Yep. Okay, discard this Spore spawning. Draw a card. Another House Forger. Not what I was looking for. Draw another card. It's a forest. Do I want to? I don't. Do I want to cast 2 Husk Forgers this turn? I really would not like to do that. Second Husk Forger does very little for me. I'd rather have something else useful. Terminal Impact. That's something else useful. Okay, I can Spore spawning for 3. Clearly, that's not the option. So it's just Forest Husk Forger. I could Terminal Impact nothing. Well, at least I get a roar next turn. If I have a roar and they can't answer a roar, and my roar goes unchecked, that could get me back into this, especially for Terminal Impact. A lot of ifs, to be sure. But my opponents had the draw that I need them to have for this hand to work, which is a slow draw. No Reapers. This is the turn they could play in a roar, which would be bad. No, it's Crumbling Tower. I don't mind Crumbling Tower very much at all. If my plan is like to get this game done quickly. They're going to get 3 Crumbling Tower triggers this turn, which is not ideal. Between Ardent Rise and Primal Fissure. Yeah, right. Crumbling Tower makes you do this, which is less than ideal. Yep. Yep, they're gonna get to do a whole bunch of stuff. No, let's hope they just hit a bunch of lands off this. I mean, it does look like I'm gonna get to cast this Aurora, which is nice. Okay, second land under the Can Be Cast from Exile. That's great. I'm gonna crack Primal Fear, presumably, but I guess they don't have to do it right now. They can do it next turn. Yeah. Oh, no, they can do it now, too. Surely they want to do it next turn, because it puts it because it gets them an extra turn to play the card off of Crumbling Tower. It's not like I guess they could hit Husk Forger and or have Husk Forger in hand. That's why they would do this. Avalanche under there. That's actually pretty good for me. Okay. Do they have Husk Forger? They do not. Okay. Like obviously they're drawing a bajillion cards, but I don't know, could be worse. I'm gonna discard this Urban Jungle because I have an Aurora because I'm about to cast an Aurora. Draw Meandering Path, sure. Play Aurora. Look at my top three. Hit 3 lands, okay. I don't know, that wasn't bad. Yeah. Yeah, sure, why not? Let me just organize these. They do not face up have a way to kill Aurora, which would be terminal. Also, if they want a terminal impact Aurora this turn, they can't play either of these lands off of their Crumbling Tower, because they're both tap lands. They can't play Avalanche plus oh, that's tapped. Plus another burn spell unless they play an untapped land as well, because their burn spell is frag. Okay. There's a non-zero chance that Aurora survives. In which case we might be doing something. A little something something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna have 10 easy. I can double terminal impact is an absolutely realistic path to victory here. Okay, they're gonna play Ardent Rise off of Crumbling Tower, but that means like Aurora's not getting hit by terminal impact this turn. I think this is good for me. You know, my opponent's drawn like 7 additional cards over the past 2 turns, but Aurora ramped me for like 5 or something. That's as good as drawing cards. Yeah. Well, more Primal Fissures and Avalanches under here. They can't cast 2 Avalanches this turn. They only have 4 mana. They can't cast an Aurora. Okay, well, this Multiply might actually be going somewhere. If I don't draw anything good to do with my mana next turn, this is looking like a Buffer Reconservatory game. Like, if I just need to do, what, 10, 8 to them before this terminal impact becomes lethal? Aurora with Reconservatory is already 8? Then I just need 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not 12 off terminal impact extremely achievable? For Aurora? We're doing it somehow? No. Okay. Now, to be fair, leveling up Reconservatory is probably less efficient than just leveling up Husk Forger in terms of spending mana and getting damage. So we're probably not going to see Reconservatory still. But you know, it's a nice thought. I thought Buffer Reconservatory might be useful once. Lit is still sinking, which I don't blame him for. Crux, Chainer of Time. What the heck do you do? I can never remember what Crux does. Oh god, Crux could -2. Oh! Oh, that's it? I thought Crux was going to -2 and chuck an Aurora at my Aurora. But instead this is happening, which I don't care about at all. Do I care about, what does Crux do? Crux can rummage. Crux can, yada yada, can deal 1 damage to me. Can Crux stop me from hitting them from 10 and then having 10 lands in play for terminal impact? That does not seem to be one of Crux's abilities. Ardent Rise. I should have cracked Primal Fissure first, not that it ended up mattering. Crack Primal Fissure. Get Forest. I'm gonna puzzle box away this Meandering Pass. Yeah, I just need to get to 10 lands in play and attack them with Husk Forger, and then I win. And then I win. What the heck? This is a mull to 5. Reminder. Hi, another Spore spawning I don't need. Play Ardent Rise for turn. Get Blood like Rivers Forest. I think is the optimal one here. Whatever, their graveyard doesn't matter. My graveyard barely matters. Make this a 5/5, attack you for 10. A roar trigger, not that it matters. Look at my top 3. Ooh, look at all these things. I'm gonna shuffle anyway off of Ardent Rise, right? I have no way of not shuffling. I'm just gonna mill all these then. And then I get all of this stuff back. Tapped. Ardent Rise immediately gets sacked. Goes and gets me. Let's do Doom Forest. Oh, all at you. Why would I? I completely forgot that Crux. I could even attack Crux. Yeah. Li understands what's happening here. I'm whatever. It's not like they have discard. This is not counterable. Not like they have counter spells anyways. I could cast this Harvest Time. It does not even remotely matter. Actually, wait a minute. Boop. Let me cast this Harvest Time. That's my last forest. Okay. Gotta get your value. Now you can go ahead. Okay, Molta 5. And your opponent just Lid just played Shiganami Burns, played Crumbling Tower, played Crux, played a whole bunch of cards that don't do anything. Don't kill a roar or win the game. Shiganami Burns discards Huskforger. They're gonna Crux my puzzle box. I don't care about any of this. Okay, you should at least let me show you the tournament that can make me. I could just be trying to top deck it. Sure, Crux is presumably going to -2 here. -2, kill a roar or something. Okay, well, as soon as it's my turn, I'm going to show him the terminal impact. And so we can get this over with, but I don't think they can do 17 to me this turn. That would be pretty wild. Yeah, why did they bring in Crux? I have no idea why they brought in Crux. I'm glad they did. It doesn't do very much against me. Okay. They're fragging a roar. Roar takes 4 damage. They're avalanching a roar and Huskforger. Okay. Huskforger takes 2 damage. They're gonna -2 Crux and kill Huskforger. Pretty impressive. Not to use this one, it does not matter. They're gonna discard a 3-mana card. Yeah, that kills all my stuff. Congratulations. And they draw a card. Okay, go to your. Okay. Okay, we can go to game 3. Cool. Maybe I don't. Okay, maybe I don't want as many advances of Fire and Faith. This is how I'm gonna win the game. No, we could absolutely get into Spore spawning battles. That's absolutely a thing that can happen. Do I want three of them? Maybe three is slightly too many. Maybe I want to trim one, get back into Search Manor Burns. Have maybe another Avalanche. Actually, would I rather draw two Advance, one Avalanche, or two Avalanche, one Advance? But I'd rather run first Advance over first Avalanche. So I guess it's 3 and 2. Yeah, I think this is where we are. On the draw. I don't think we're favored, both because I think Lib probably is a slightly bigger deck in this matchup, and also because they are on the draw, but less likely things have happened. And I definitely I made a bunch of misplays game one. I don't know if not making those misplays would result in me winning the game, but at the very least I should, your misplays are the things you're accountable for. You should try to focus on those. Game two, which is kind of a miracle. Let's hope for another miracle. Just like a good hand, please. Well, this hand doesn't do anything until turn 3. This hand has no cards that cost less than 3 mana. Which I did side in 4 of those. Our opponent mulligans. How am I thinking about hand that does nothing until turn 3, and then its turn 3 play is, well, it's whatever I want. It also doesn't have Reaper, which is a very important card in this matchup. His hand is functional. It's very functional. If they go turn 2 Reaper, I have to leave it in play for a turn and then Avalanche it. If they go turn 3 Anomaly, I can then Hungry Blob it. If they have both of those things, it's a problem, but they're mulliganing. This is exactly one of I kept a hand a lot like this against Cat and Tree, and got really punished for it. Once again on the draw, once again all 3 drops. Just got beaten down. Once again, that was an aggro deck. Cat and Tree was an aggro deck. This is not an aggro deck. Well, it is not an aggro deck. But still, not having any turn 1 or 2 plays. But again, I don't have a ton of turn 1 or 2 plays in my deck. I got the 2 Shigan Manor Burns, I got 4 Husk Forgers, I got 4 Reaper Blossoms, so 10 cards. So not finding one in top 7 is not that unlikely. Okay. I'm gonna keep 7, but I could easily see that being wrong. There's a lot of worse 6s, there are a lot of better 6s too. The fact that my opponent mulliganed and might, praise be, mulligan again, does mean I'm willing to keep a safe but not super powerful hand over looking for a more explosive hand, but taking the risk of mulliganing further. At least that's my justification. Opponent has a Husk Forger draw. Not what I want to see. I draw a Reaper of Blossoms. That's pretty good. Well, I mean, this hand is developed into a completely normal curve. Turn 2 Reaper, turn 3, choice of 3 drop. Opponent has first Reaper. But they're not going to be able to draw off of it this turn, or get a land back off of it this turn. Okay, they mill 3, they gain 1. Ooh, I'm the one who has 2 Reapers this game. That's excellent news. Reaper. End step. Sure, normal mills. Yeah, listen, it's this deck has so many different angles, different ways it can go. I just have to hope they're not ramping into an Aurora. Do we both have 2 Reapers? Is this where we're going? No, they have a frag. Okay. Let them hit for 2. Mill 3. Get back mountain. Terminal impact gone. Well, let's see a roar gone. Did they just miss a land drop? They just missed a land drop. That's great news. I am seriously consider just Reaper plus leave it mono to pay for it this turn. The other option is what, Avalanche their Reaper? Neither of us have any Reapers? Other option is Anomaly. Start discarding things. Hmm. Okay. Let's think this through. Let's make a plan. So currently, I can get the Reaper advantage because I can play a Reaper and then I can kill their Reaper, or I can do those two things but in the other order. Reaper advantage seems pretty good. Or I could play Redeemer and try to be aggressive, but that doesn't seem very likely. I could play Anomaly, but Anomaly is better to play after I already have things in play, such as a Reaper. I could Avalanche now in case they have Anomaly, which could let them get to a 3-4 and out of range. Yeah, I think my choices here are: do I want to Avalanche their Reaper, or do I want to play my own Reaper? If I Avalanche their Reaper, I'm more. Avalanche their Reaper is better if they have Fabricated Anomaly, but my own Reaper is better if would otherwise miss a land drop next turn because it lets me hit. It makes me more likely to hit that land drop. They could easily have Anomaly in hand. I don't have a Spore spawning yet. They might have a Spore spawning. I guess if I hit my land drop off of Reaper, it's not like I can do anything with 4 mana next turn. I could also Avalanche the Husk Forger, although I know they have a land in hand. They're not going to miss any more land drops. Tough play. Tough call. I could also miss on Reaper. I think the chances of me not having them on my top are higher than the chances of them having a Fabricated Anomaly in hand, especially because there's one in their graveyard. So I should play Reaper of Blossoms. And miss. Ugh. Hitting 2 Terminal Impacts into Avalanche is really, really bad. Really bad. Oh, God. Did I gain my 1 life off that? I did not gain my 1 life. I should. Okay, well, that happens sometimes. Well, looks like we both might miss a land drop this game. If they play Anomaly, I can at least blob the Anomaly and the Puzzle Box next turn. This could be Advance of Fire and Faith. That's what this is. Take my 2. I don't want to lose to Advance of Fire and Faith, and I don't think this game's coming down to 2 damage this way or the other. So, if that was a bluff, it was a pretty good bluff. They impact my Reaper. They play the land I know about. They mill two Spore spawnings. I draw another Reaper. Oh, God. It's the same decision as last time. I could play a Reaper of Blossom, try to hit a land, or I could Avalanche their Reaper. I think this time I might be more influenced in Avalanche. I really want to hit that land drop. I'm fairly certain they don't have Anomaly, because otherwise they would probably have played it. But they have Spore spawning going, meaning their Reaper is much more threatening than mine. I think it has to be this play this turn. Hope is I will end up with a Reaper when the dust settles, and that'll have to do. They can Spore spawning for 5, which is still a lot. Okay, they drew a land at some point. And they have a roar. Okay, yeah, I think this game is pretty over. It does not look like it enormously mattered what I did. That's okay. They have a third Spore spawning. Yeah, I gave myself every opportunity to hit lands and be able to do things, but yeah, I mean, the chance of, given that I knew they didn't have Anomaly, they were short on lands in hand because they missed a land drop, they didn't have, um, uh, the chance of them having an Aurora were very high. Uh, well, I finally find that land, but it is almost certainly too late here. I don't even have 5 mana to kill Aurora with Terminal Impact, which would be otherwise my play. Okay. If I win this game, how do I win? Um, I go Reaper into somehow getting bigger Spore spawnings than them in the following few turns. That's how I win. I'll get Meandering Path, I guess. Really do need an untapped land. Yeah, I could have killed Huskforger with Avalanche, but if they have Reaper in play, choose Spore spawning in graveyard, like I'm not beating that either from that situation. I guess I could have hoped to draw Advance of Fire and Faith, one of the two left in my deck from there. Okay. Once again, my nemesis is going to triumph against me. Okay, game 1, I made misplays. I think my opponent's draw was good enough that I was unlikely to win either way, but shouldn't have made those. Game 2, I think I got lucky. Like, I think I played well, but I think the right line was pretty clear in game 2. Not like I had a lot of options. Game 3, I think I mostly got unlucky. There were some tough choices in there, like I could have avalanched or I could have played Reaper. But if I wasn't going to draw a land either way, if I was going to hit my land drop either way, then it really does not matter which one I picked. I don't know which one is, a priori better. I think they're probably pretty close. Maybe I was too focused on Reaper of Blossoms, but it does seem to be a very important card in this matchup. But yeah, just like not hitting land drops, not doing impactful things. I guess the big decision I could have made game 3 is I could have mulliganed. it's possible that's what. But like, it's not even my draw was bad. I had turned to Reaper, turn 3 drop of my choice. They just had a much better opening, even with missing the land drop. Okay. Okay, they can't exile lands to this because those lands were just put there by because like the Aurora trigger is all in one. Okay, this is a formality. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just you are forced to ramp for 5. You're not allowed to put 1+1+1 counter on your creature instead. Okay, yeah, they get all the lands, and then they have to exile. They could even exile Spore Farm. They got so many. Okay. Yeah, yep, yep. Opponent's going to go through the motions here. But I have nothing going on. If I draw a land, I could terminal impact their roar. No, I couldn't. It's a 6/6. I couldn't even do that. I could. I can't even cast Spore Spawning next turn under any circumstances. Okay, they managed to exile 8 cards anyways. I take my 10, go to 8. Obviously, I'm dead to terminal impact, but like that's the least of my concerns. I'm dead to the board. I'm dead to the Spore Spawning for a large number. 6. Yeah, that's GG. I don't think I have outs. I'm going to draw my card, but then I'm going to say GG because I do not think I have outs from here. Yeah. My nemesis, once again. That's how it goes. I think I played acceptably this match. Not perfectly. Once again, game one, I think I made some inaccuracies. Okay. Well, no one wants to hear me complain. Yeah, they can play another Reaper. They get a Reaper trigger. Oh, they drew a lot of Reapers this game. Not just 2, it looks like. Okay. And my draw for the turn is an Urban Jungle, and that's going to be GG. Good luck in finals. Our nemesis has done us in again, but, top four is not bad. This deck quite good at doing that. Um, I just, yeah, I think I was unfavored this matchup, and I drew poorly, and I played like not quite my best, but you know, top eight's still good. Best of luck to Lih. Certainly one of the one a player doing a lot of great work these days. Okay, well, see you guys next month. There might be an exciting extra video coming soon. Check out Blood and Velvet in the Gray server. Good night.